There was a man in town who was widowed. He had lost his wife. But he was raising 3 lovely daughters. Unfortunately, he didn't have any money. And when the eldest daughter wanted to marry, she couldn't. Because in my day, to get married, not only did a father give his daughter's hand away in marriage, he also had to give some money as well. But because he had no money, she couldn't get married. Because of this, my dear friends, he came up with a solution. And his solution was to sell the oldest girl into slavery and use that money for the other weddings. The night before this was to occur, I found out. And I went and did something myself. I went to my room, took some of my very own money, tied it up in a handkerchief in a nice little ball, and waited for nightfall. When I was certain that all were sound asleep, I snuck off to the man's house. And while no one was looking, I threw the money through the window, and then I ran off. The next morning, the man found the money, and instead of selling his daughter to slavery, he used that money for her dowry, so she could get married. He ran throughout the town trying to find out who had done this good deed. He even came to me, Bishop Nicholas, and you know what I said to him? I have no idea who has done this great deed. But you should be thankful, and perhaps you should do the same thing. Good deeds for others, expect nothing in return. It was going to be my little secret that I gave him the money. Well, some time goes by, and the second girl wants to marry, and again the father has no money. So again he thinks slavery is the only solution. The night before she is to be sold into slavery, again I go to my room. I take some of my very own money, tie it up in a nice little ball, and I wait for nightfall. And when I am certain that all are sound asleep, I sneak off to the man's house. And while no one is looking, I throw the money in the window, and then I ran off. The next morning he awakes to find the money, and again he uses that money for her wedding instead of selling her into slavery. Well now, you look like a very intelligent group, do you not? I think you know where this story is going, yes? The third daughter wants to marry, and again he has no money. So again he chooses slavery as the only solution. And the night before she is to be sold, I again take some of my own money, tie it up in a ball, and wait for nightfall. And when I am certain that all are sound asleep, I sneak off to the man's house, and while no one is looking, I throw the money through the window, and I turn to run off. But this time the man is waiting for me. And he says, Bishop Nicholas, it is you. You are the one who has saved my daughters from slavery. I must tell everyone throughout the town, no, everyone I know throughout the world. And I say, no, do not. I did not do these good deeds looking for some sort of acknowledgement. I did them out of the goodness of my heart. If you want to make me happy, my dear friend, here's what you should do. Good deeds for others, and expect nothing in return. If you do this, then I certainly will be happy. Does this sound familiar? A man who sneaks around in the dead of night, sight unseen, giving gifts to children? Yes, this is how my legend began, as the giver of gifts and the protector of children. My dear friends, throughout different parts of Europe, this is what occurred last week on the Feast of St. Nicholas. People would get there together in the fall and try and think up different stories of St. Nicholas's life. And then on the Feast of St. Nicholas, they would perform those stories for their friends and neighbors. They are called mummers, and this is what you call a mummer's play, where people tell the stories of my existence. And they do this hoping for some sort of treat in return. And because our mummers were so wonderful, I think they deserve a treat. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
Yes. For you, my dear? Yes. For you, sir? Yes. For you, your majesty? Yes, indeed. And, oh Oh, you are welcome, my dears. For you, Stephen, as well. You are welcome. Give them one more round of applause. What a wonderful treat I gave our mummers. For you see, candy makers used to give treats to children on special occasions of peppermint sticks. But on the feast of St. Nicholas, they came up with a magnificent idea. They took that peppermint stick and they bent the end to make it a cane, therefore symbolizing the Bishop of Myra, Bishop Nicholas.